Welcome back to Partnerships Unlocked, where we have fast, tactical conversations with partner leaders at the top of the game.
Go deep, not broad is such an easy highline statement, but what does that actually mean in a tactical essence? Go treat your top 5 partners like part of your team.
It sounds like the common thread is just alignment and setting the right goals, plans, strategy, and expectations.
And if you don't have that, what are you actually activating? How are you going to market together?
All right. Welcome back to Partnerships Unlocked, where we have fast, tactical conversations with partner leaders at the top of the game. Very excited today to have the best partner leader from Down Under, Mr. Brian Williams, here with us. Brian, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Greg. Good to be here, and thanks for having me. So based in Melbourne, Australia, I'm the founder of Hockey Stick Advisory. We've been operating 3.5 years now, which is crazy to say. What we're all about is enabling partnership opportunities to fuel growth, whether that's driving top line revenue or making those bottom line efficiency savings, so you don't have to hire a huge, humongous sales team. We work with ambitious founders and C-suite to build partner capabilities within their businesses to drive long-term sustainable growth.
And what did you do before you started Hockey Stick Advisory?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to work at Xero accounting software. We went through the hypergrowth phase from about 100 app partners to about 1,200 over about a 5-year period. And through that lens, I saw a very unique perspective of what good, bad, and ugly partnerships look like, as upcoming companies wanted to partner with Xero, seeking distribution in the hopes and dreams of a fire hose of customers. And what I identified was there's a big gap in market of where do you go to learn partnerships? Where do you actually go to grow, with distribution or to drive resellers? What does that look like across the board for referrals? And so through some organic consulting opportunities, I saw there was a big opportunity in market here to go out and educate and upskill and enable other companies who wanted to do the same.
I love that. So let's just dive right into the questions. Let's start with one unlock that when you figured out this strategy or tactic, it really just drove incredible results for you, and you've pulled that forward through to your career, and obviously now you're consulting and advisory work. What was that? What did you learn, and why do you think it worked?
Yeah, go deep, not broad is such an easy highline statement, but what does that actually mean in a tactical essence? Go treat your top 5 partners like part of your team. They're not on your payroll, but they're working alongside you, solving problems for your customers and building those mutual success plans of a forward-looking lens rather than a reactive, nice, shiny slide deck of a QBR of what's happened, or some product and feature updates, and building some commitment both sides to unlock organizational buy-in. You need to make sure that you know what you contribute towards your other partners' teams, and then likewise, and then build a plan to make that happen. And what I found in our experience was when we brought partners close to come to conferences together, to come to community days where we upskill and retrain, when we provide updates on both sides around our development roadmap, explore mutual opportunities with forward-looking lens, every essence is simple as a better together narrative, but it comes through that alignment phase with your top partners to make it happen. And I really saw that flourish. So many companies still are in a big recruiting mandate of let's go get more partners. And when I chat to leading companies down here, recently with HubSpot or Shopify, they're thinking about, do we go get more out of our existing partners, or do we go recruit a bunch more, right? That's our 2 levers for growth through partnerships. And what I've seen is to just go deep with a select few. Just nail that.
Yeah. And of course, if you actually nail that, to your point, you can always copy that playbook with other partners. But if you're stretched too thin to ever actually figure out how to go deep and how to really maximize a relationship, you're just constantly going to be trying to, grow through acquisition, right? And that's not sustainable, and that doesn't really allocate resources any positive way.
No, that's right. Exactly. And most partnership teams are, as we all know, lean, under-resourced, and they usually get given a top-down target. Go deliver $2-5 million of revenue from whoever, go do it. However, for those partnership operators who are in the role, like to be able to produce a meaty bottoms-up plan back that's CFO endorsed around where the gaps are, what's required to be able to speak the language of P&L with confidence around these partners are going to deliver this much, these partners are going to deliver that much, but what's required to drive that success. I think it's a big case of managing up in order to get the resourcing and working through with very real commercial numbers with a 18-month to 3-year lens of around what is a partner, TAM, SAM, and SOM per partner or per partner category. You're going to get commercial buy-in because there's revenue or output to go with it, which I think still really lacking in market, and there's a big opportunity for the whole industry to rise up there.
Yeah. And do you have an example of some of the results that going deep with a few partners drove, maybe in your time at Xero?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I remember we used to sort of collaborate with Scott Brinker as he was building out his HubSpot's ecosystem. And one of his articles was partnership ecosystems usually got a really big bell curve left-right, which what I mean by that is if you think of the 80-20 rule, which partners produce, and Jay McBain last week came out, it's probably more 5% or maybe 1% for that is we had some partners who were very close to the core of our offering, which is where usually build by partner comes from. From big companies, they build and then they make the M&A teams, they go and buy to adjacents for it. But there's some companies who are right sitting there that solve alongside us that had phenomenal growth because it was close and adjacent in that space. So the ones I'm thinking of, Greg, they came to all our events, they embedded themselves alongside our sales teams, they were actively looking for opportunities, they'd introduce us to opportunities, and in lots of ways, in those early stages, we're nearly organically going to the market together. They'd hire a lot of former Xero teams around it. And so there was this wedded relationship. And so coming back to Scott Brinker's bell curve in the left model, we had extremely high penetration of adoption of these partners on this side. I'm talking about the top 5 to 10. And as a result, the businesses grew alongside us with us, quite substantially. They grew their teams, they took in funding to go with it. And then they flourished in a tailwind with us as we went to market.
I love that. That's a great story. All right, so let's flip to the other side. What's something you tried, you had all the highest hopes for, and it just failed miserably, and what did it teach you?
Yeah, I think too many go-to-market leaders are under pressure, especially from those with VC lens. And so they're under pressure to deliver short-term results and immediately. And so every engagement we do at Hockeystick is whereby we only start with an executive leadership session where we get everyone on the stage on the same page around what partnerships are. And a CRO or a chief sales officer, if they're in charge of partnerships, will be like, okay, I get it. We need to invest. We need to build relationships. We need to embed ourselves in. This is a 1 to 2 year plan that we're gonna get some short initiatives going. However, the pressures of an aggressive VC-backed company to have hypergrowth immediately, it's interestingly how sometimes 3 months, 6 months down the road, they'll throw it all out the window if it's not producing immediately. Even if they don't have that, even if you've been through it and got the understanding and expectations around how we need to invest in this as a channel, if it's going to grow and prosper as we can upcoming. However, the dynamics of delivering immediate results this month, next quarter, sometimes gets lost. And so I've had examples where they've parked it or put on hold partnership despite being all bought in because of those pressures. But then equally, we've had some who stay the course and building the foundations properly. And they're the ones who deliver the results which you and I know is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's... I have no notes on that because that is such a common experience where the goals and expectations set by those outside of the partner team are absolutely unrealistic for the partner team. And it becomes this just vicious cycle of trying and stopping and trying and stopping. But fortunately, we are having more companies get a little bit more latitude to succeed. And you see that when, the time and effort is put into properly invest, the ROI is incredible.
That's right. And so to mitigate that, something we think about is making sure we're showcasing those leading and lagging indicators of all the green shoots of everything partnerships contributing, communicating across that business ongoing, right? Like and a project and engagement we've been doing in recent months down here with a big Series C company, I think they're at, is, for the marketing team, more brand and awareness, the customer success, you don't have to do it all yourselves. We can deliver and support through partners. Sales, we're going to deliver bigger and qualified leads and accelerate your pipeline through. And we've really made it cross-functionally at a leadership team level around making sure that they understand what this can do and it can actually help them all win individually. But the key is that you've got to over-communicate that weekly, monthly, to make sure that they understand what it is and also what it isn't, because otherwise it gets lost in the noise. So the learnings for us was you can't rely on getting everyone on the same page in a day and then everyone committed and get bought in. It's got to be an ongoing, continuous engagement that they know what the role of partnerships is now and also into the future.
Yeah. I love that call out on the just kind of continuous trickle or flow of information so that they're never wondering, what have you done for me lately? Or what are you doing, period. So that's great. Okay, I love that one. So let's move on to the final question, which is, what are 2 or 3 just other unlocks that you wish you knew earlier in your partnerships career?
I think getting deep alignment. Like we've got a 5-pillar framework we do. And what I mean by that, Greg, is truly understanding what your key stakeholders on the other side, KPIs, commissions, targets are, and how they're tracking towards that. Like, what does the marketing person on the other side care about, for example? Oh, you're responsible for MQLs or 50%, 80%. And then the second part is saying, right, or are you ahead or behind this quarter next year? What does that look like? If you can understand that cross-functionally with your stakeholders or your partners, then you're able to go into the validate stage and you're able to shape your partner value proposition to help the people within the company to win. Because everyone always focuses on, I'm working with insert company, but it's the people within who have targets, OKRs or KPIs or whatever, or what it is, but actually going to move the needle. So to move from a nice to have, oh yeah, I love this company, we'll do stuff for, we're talking about just flash in the pan, high level, let's go for a coffee or a beer or put some social media posts out there, to actually contribute, like to be able to answer the question of say, Hockey Stick contributes 20% of leads to EULA monthly, quarterly, ongoing, or 30%, we're growing towards 40%, or having that granular commercial impact to the people on the other side, that's how you'll get buy-in.
I love that. Anything else?
I think in terms of activating that, moving through to the mutual success plans, which are ongoing and embedded, around how do you actually activate, but you're always talking with those goals in mind and making sure that actually is able to activate for it. And the reason why that works is it unlocks that organizational buy-in. They're able to drag in marketing where they can, customer success, maybe an events manager, projects manager. So you're moving from just helping one person on the other side to get the company, but you're actually, I like the phrase OPM, other people's money, but you're able to unlock, sort of their sales marketing team on the other side to deliver mutually beneficial goals to bring to life. So that's a bit that's missed. So commonly companies are like, they just see logos and like, oh, we're going to do a bunch of stuff with them, but they don't know what the other company cares about. They don't know what they're trying to achieve, by when, what does success look like? And even if you matter to them, can you contribute 1%, 5%? So by actually building a plan together, then it's no different to doing your internal strategy days, but you're doing it with another company to grow together. And that seems to be the unlock that we're seeing repeatedly of getting companies to build this growing partnership engine. Yeah,
I love that. What stage are these companies leveraging that last unlock?
Well, the activate stage comes into play only when you've sort of done the previous work, right? Once you're aligned, validated, and to be able to go through it. For us, what we focus on is, scale up companies who are looking to push through. They've got product market fit. They're expanding in new regions. The leadership knows that partnerships is a strategic growth lever, but they don't really know how. And that's sort of where we come in to build a realistic, pragmatic plan tied to accelerate the company strategy, not work in isolation off to the side.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like if I could sum up everything that you've said today, it sounds like the common thread is just alignment and setting the right goals, plans, strategy, and expectations.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, what are you actually activating? How are you going to market together? You know, it might be, oh, we're doing this one webinar or we're doing this one event together, but it's ad hoc and stuff that's flash in the pan. So what does next month, next quarter look like? You can't build a plan on that which a CFO will sign off or get excited by, or a chief revenue officer can get behind. So how do you build an always-on model? Because isn't the goal of partnerships to build a predictable, sustainable growth channel, which is you can then build cash flow forecasts and then ask for resources to turn it on. And it's not like this lumpy, noisy stuff, because we see that far too often and still continues in market.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If it's not measurable, it doesn't matter, or at least nobody else is going to care about it outside of you. So, well, fantastic, Brian. This has been awesome. Thank you for sharing these insights. Always love your kind of unique and tactical perspective. So, really appreciate you joining today.
Thanks, Greg. Keep doing what you're doing. Love seeing your accelerated growth too, right? Up and to the right we go.
Up and to the right we go. Cheers, mate.